Good afternoon. On a bright sunny summer's day, what else do we want to do but play with snowflakes? Yay! Give me a sec while I just play catch up. There we go. Make sure we've got no volume. No volume. Hello, just lost it. Bear with, sorry. If you are there we go. Oh, sorry, nobody's there yet. Chatting away to myself. I tidied my desk and it's all gone a bit crazy, but anyway. I can't show you inside this yet. It comes out tomorrow. But what I can show you, you've seen me play with this stamp set before on a previous live for Christmas, and we have these fabulous dies that I have been playing with. So I've done a bit of pre-preparation, partly because I wasn't sure what this one did, so we're going to find out what that one does. It's rather lovely. So we have those gorgeous dies. Hold on, let's be tidy, put things away. And we have these absolutely gorgeous papers, which we're going to need to order another pack because I've only got one bit left of one of them. How sad is that? So both sides of this are gorgeous. So this is the Snowflakes side. So we have mint. No, we don't have mint macaron. We have Pool Party, Balmy Blue, Coastal Cabana, Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Pacific Point Pool Party that coordinate with this beautiful set. So, oh, they're just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So we have Snowflakes side of the paper. So you get 6 different designs. Oh, one's hiding there from me. And then on the other side, the gorgeousness is one of them has, that one has a lovely kind of mottled background with snowflakes on. That one has just a lovely mottled background. That is just gorgeous, isn't it? Like the splodges. Hi Jeanette, hope you're well. Then that's a kind of splodgy background as well, and this one with the kind of smaller snowflakes. But yeah, they're absolutely gorgeous. So as you see, I'm down to this last little bit of that paper already, so I'm gonna see another order coming in for this gorgeous paper. So that's the papers that we're playing with. And I've kind of pre-cut a few bits and pieces, and I am going to do a few different things. So you're excited, aren't you? Yeah, what is she talking about? So I wasn't sure. Oh, it's falling apart in my packaging. So when this came, obviously these are fairly obviously snowflakes, and then there was this one which I thought initially was going to cut me out a label, but it doesn't. It cuts out a fabulous kind of, oops, inner, like that. So, got something on there for some reason. So all we need to do is just pop out those bits from there, and sort of on a cream, that's not cream at all, is it? White. So all I've done is cut a white card base, a Highland Heather, and then a piece like that. Beautiful green. Oh, no, I've still got another bit in there. Let's get rid of that bit as well, shall we? Make sure we've got all the holes punched out. But how fantastic is that? And then a minute ago. Oh, look at that. 1 minute she's organised and then it all goes, oh, there they are. So what I've done, sorry. Oh, Jeanette, it's beautiful DSP. So what I've done as well is just cut out some little snowflakes because I thought it might be quite nice. So what I did was used the adhesive strips because I thought it would be rather nice to have some of the snowflakes kind of popping onto the edge of that and then picking a greeting for the centre. And in the set we have Snowflake wishes for a Merry Christmas. May your season sparkle. Thank you so much. Happy Hanukkah. I don't know anyone I can send that to, so I won't use that one. In the coldest moments of the year, my heart is warm because you're near, and our friendship is one of a kind. But I rather like may your season sparkle. So all we have to do is find it. So what I was hoping, because it's on a photopolymer, so it's going to fit right, oh perfect, fits beautifully in that space. Wondering how it would look. Or I might do it, that is Highland Heather, but I might stamp in Gorgeous Grape just to give a bit of, oh, it put me block straight on, do you see that? Oh God, it's Monday. So the only thing that I am going to do is I'm going to just move all those bits because I don't want to stick that until I have stamped in the middle. So I'm just going to make sure that's in the position that I want it, and then I'm going to hold that securely. And what I want to do, because I want to get some visibility, but I don't want to add black to it. Oh yes, lovely. So I'm just going to position that kind of fairly centrally. That sits rather beautifully in the middle there. Is that more of your money that I've spent? I have to say, have you seen the full catalogue yet? Because when you see it, you will absolutely love this amongst the many things that we have got. So now I've managed to stamp that perfectly. I am going to glue this down. Yeah, this was on my absolute I cannot manage without you list. There is an embossing folder, but that's not ready. Or it wasn't ready when I was doing pre-order, so I haven't seen or haven't got my hands on the embossing folder yet, but I absolutely already know that I need another pack of the papers. There's no way I'm going to manage through the Christmas season making Christmas cards without another pack of papers. They're just stunning. But I love the colour combinations. Sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love kind of reds and greens and that for Christmas, but I love doing the kind of misty moonlights and the Highland Heathers and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just beautiful. So I haven't put any tape around that centerpiece because I quite like that lift. So, and also you can see I didn't cut a full one of those because I knew I was going to hang it off the edge, but the adhesive pieces, so you just make it an awful lot easier to attach the snow. Oh, don't do it there, Marie, don't do it there, don't do it there. Just make sure those edges are definitely off. There we go. So just a couple, as I say, the adhesive sheets come as a separate sheet, and you just stick a bit of the adhesive on the back, and then you get, I've got my glasses on and I still can't see that, so you just then separate it. There we go, got it. So it just makes it an awful lot easier, because I, for one, have not the patience for sticking glue around that section when they're little. I just don't. I have a certain amount of patience, but not all the time. So I like an easy, simple solution. So I just think adding a couple of little snowflakes. So we stuck those on. Simple but effective. So that is what that fantastic little die does. There, and then all I've got to do is get my scissors. Hi Jane. Not 100% sure if I've already said hello or not. Can't remember. You've either had 2 hellos or you've had none at all, and you've just got one. So I'm busy concentrating. So, oh, a bit of a trim on the edge there. Let's get rid of that. Oh, that's just a bit. Oh, what I managed to do there. I've got a neaten that edge up. Just oh, that's better. That's right. I started to trim along that edge for some reason. Anyway, there we go. Chattering away. So hopefully everybody had a lovely weekend. I cannot believe it's August. And we're due to for a hot end of the week again, aren't we? So there we go. That's what that one does. Don't have a card base handy, but I think that would look lovely on the Highland Heather card base. And that one. So there's one. Then I had a plan. So hang on. I'm just gonna let's clear the decks a little. I do hope everybody else is as messy a crafter as I am. Because what I need to do is, I've done a little bit of pre-prep, but I need to just so. What I have done, the thought I had, so I've done some snowflakes in Night of Navy. So this is focusing on Night of Navy. And again, couldn't decide which of these I'm going to use. Actually, that one might be a bit big. This might look better. Because what I'm thinking is Night of Navy background. Bit of the old shimmery white. Then placing on some of the Night of Navy as a background. And then I'm going to cut bits of DSP to fit inside that. Does that make sense? So that's the piece I thought I would show you, which I think is going to be better with these smaller snowflakes than the big ones on that paper. And that colour just doesn't coordinate with what I want to do. So, but yeah, gorgeous paper. So, and these are literally, I just randomly cut it, and actually I haven't really thought about where the greeting is going to go, but we'll do that as well. So this piece measures, my randomly cut bit, 3 centimeters by 9.5. So out of this here, I'm going to cut, that doesn't look like a straight edge, that looks better. So that was 3 centimeters, so I'm going to cut 2.5 centimeters in width by, forgotten what that was now, 9.5. So this is going to be 9. Yes, it is. So that it fits on there. So I'm just going to stick that into place before I start losing bits of DSP all over the place. But kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen, I've done this for kind of non-Christmas, so I'm hoping it's going to work for Christmas. That is just going to sit exactly there. Then these bits, I probably do need to have a think about where I'm going to put the greeting as well, don't I? That would be a good plan, wouldn't it? We can do something on a... Oh! Can use a nice cut shape over the top. So this little bit is 7 by 2¼ So considering they were randomly cut, I've not done too badly. So I'm going to take off kind of to there, kind of taking off ½ centimetre. Hopefully that works. Oh, actually I might have that little bit in the middle with that lovely... So what you can do is kind of check which bit of the paper that you want for this card. I'm going to use that end. And that was 7, so I'm going to cut it slightly longer because I want that bit to feature. So this is why we always... That's at 7, so 6½. And then that piece will fit onto there. You can kind of see what I'm... Well, hopefully you can see what I'm aiming for. Just to feature the DSP, but also the Night of Navy. So this little square is 3 by, let's say 3½. So I need a little square. Rather liking featuring that, I think. Let's go, oops, 3 by 2½, just to get that lovely snowflake in. Oh, look, actually I've got oh, I think we'll go with that bit. That's rather nice, isn't it? So this is a fantastic way of using scraps up, which clearly I didn't have scraps of the DSP because it's brand new. DSP Designer Series paper, for anybody that's wondering why I keep saying DSP. And so I'm thinking that, and then that could sit there, because what would work rather well is a straight edged label. Well, actually we could not layer the label, couldn't we? We could put the label on something, so the greeting is going to float on, and then I've lost a bit of, oh yes, I had just another. Or we could add, so essentially we're going to create something. We're going to have a very little bit of Designer Series paper that's going to fit. So I've done that. That's sort of 1½ by 6. Oh, I might be able to get away with using one of these bits. Oh yeah. And I mean, I've done ½ centimetre. You could literally, I'm going to do this one slightly tighter, I think. If you do less than ½ centimetre, you get less of the Night of Navy showing. But it is something that, as I say, if you had scraps, it's quite good for using scraps up. As I've admitted, we clearly don't have scraps of a DSP that's brand new. But what I'm thinking is, right, that greeting is too big for that one, so we need a smaller greeting that's going to fit within this story label. Which I think it's going to be too tight with that one. That's too big. But what we could do, most of the greetings within the set are bigger than that one. So I'm going to choose something from... Oh, I wonder where the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year fits in. Oh yeah. So this I would stamp in Night of Navy because that's the kind of focus of the card. Okay, mount that onto a block, Marie. Hi Jenny. I'm defying nature today and making sure my snowflakes don't melt. Snowflakes would definitely not last on a day like today, would they? That's for sure. Oh, that's lovely. So that's from Itty Bitty Christmas. Ooh, just... Whoop. Then I might just get a little sponge, as I have for some reason I didn't tidy my sponges away when I was... Just sponge around the edge of the label. A bit of Night of Navy. And that's going to go somewhere on there. So essentially when we get all the bits, we're going to play around, because what I have also got is some Night of Navy snowflakes to pop around the place. It's, I would say, I pre-prepped, so I had to be a little bit careful because I wanted to make sure they're all on adhesive backing to make life easier, but in some places, let's just get rid of that excess because we need to cut that. There we go. So kind of essentially what we need to do is play around now for the layout that we like. So there's no kind of set way of doing it, just however you fancy. I think the greeting needs to be on dimensionals for sure. It was kind of just in the way, Jenny. That really isn't the correct way of doing things, is it? As I always say, do as I say, don't do as I do. Terrible, terrible habits. But you can kind of see we just want to create some sort of layout. That, and actually even that one, do you know what? That would look rather nice that way around, I think. So essentially it's just playing around with all those different bits. To create a card, which well, this piece is definitely going to go at that end, so a bit of, so that definitely is going to, that length I selected is the same as the card base, and I rather like that one in that sort of position. So the last thing I'm going to put on is the So I've got snail out because I was just doing a bit of my own crafting rather than the new product. So the last thing to go on is going to be that. I think that might go a little bit more. Oh look, that was almost like I planned that, but I don't want that to be like that. So if you were really clever, which obviously I'm not, I didn't think about it beforehand, but you could cut some of those bases so they almost reflected. But I do want some sort of overlap. So essentially it's just playing with those. What we really want to do is kind of highlight the fabulousness of this DSP. I mean, that could kind of sit on its own, or it could overlap. It's quite nice with a bit of overlap, isn't it? Or maybe even down. No, I think a bit of overlap. But you can kind of see that you can play to your heart's content. I might actually butt that up like that. That rather nice. Oh, I might just do that. That's quite nice. Quite like it. And butt that there. And then all we need to do is, I've got a right old pickle going on. Let's get all these little bits out of the snowflake. So yeah, I kind of just did all different snowflakes. So with the adhesive backing, you're just peeling it off, making sure all your bits are taken out. And again, it doesn't have to be, oh, I need to remember that that's loose. Oh, hold on. Before we stick that down to the navy, let's get our proper Stampin' seal out. Which is much quieter, it's much pleasanter, isn't it? So let's just mount the whole thing onto the Night of Navy. So the last thing that's going to go on is the sentiment, but I do want it to be around that. So now this can potentially float off the side, or it could actually float underneath. I don't want any of those straight lines matching. So some of that will end up underneath that little sentiment. But as you can see, it's an awful lot easier using the adhesive backing than it would be to glue it, unless you're very patient. So with the snowflakes, what I don't want personally is any straight line kind of reflecting. You can see if I put that like that, that straight line's going straight through that gap. So I do want to make sure that nothing is exactly straight. That's just personal. You could, if you prefer it to be straight, you can play it straight. Oh, I've got a little bit of excess there. One of the little bits. And then, so I've used 3 different snowflakes. You could use all the same ones. You have a lovely selection in the set. And that one, again, got my straight line thing going on, so I don't want it to be too straight. So those that came along later, I did earlier do that. And the other thing we have with this beautiful set is this lovely ribbon, which could just add a nice bit of detail down the side there. Just adds a little bit of bling. Could go anywhere. Could just go along that edge. That might be quite nice, mightn't it? Or we could have it butted up against. Just add a bit of bling with a bit of that. It's just whether we put it there or there. I'm just going to let my cut that. I've got a twizzle in that one, don't like that. Let's just want to straight a bit so that it's exactly straight. Just going to wait for the camera to catch up, or the video on Facebook, because what I do find, whew, now there's the reason you put your lid straight back on your ink. I was just leaning on my Night of Navy ink. I don't have an inky arm. I had a panic then. So what I'm trying to think is whether it looks better. No, I think it looks better next to that, so I'm going to put it next to the, oh, I'll put it alongside that, and it's going to go from top to bottom. And oh, I forgot I hadn't stuck that on. I had a panic then. Just to add a bit of sparkle, and then we'll put the greeting on the right way up, shall we? That would be a fabulous idea, wouldn't it? So really now, just sits rather nicely there. So I've just put that onto dimensional, so it's a little bit proud. It looks rather nice. So there we go. Again, I would just put that onto a simple Whisper White card base, which I was halfway through cutting and haven't finished. I don't know why I didn't finish them. I've cut them all. I just haven't scored. So that is featuring Night of Navy. So then this is the other paper that I think is, well, I think absolutely every single one of them is absolutely gorgeous, but this uses Misty Moonlight, which it might be why I've got that paper out. I think that paper might, just trying to work out which paper goes better with. No, I'm going to stick with the one that I've chosen. They're just all, actually I might go that one. That's slightly, let's go a little bit more singular. Nothing like changing your mind halfway through, is it? I used to be decisive and now I'm not so sure. So I've cut basically same idea, but I'm going to show you here with it just using bigger bits of card. So again, we could have one there and one there and one there, or one there, one there. We could just have two. We could have two with a greeting there, and then obviously I'm going to add some paper so it will change. So this is a slightly more solid Snowflake. That's the same one that I used before, as is that little baby one. So you get a choice. I think it's very much sort of making a decision, because nothing says we can't layer that and then put that on dimensionals and then have a greeting as well. So let's get some DSP onto these bits of card first. So I've got a Misty Moonlight base and a shimmery white. So what I'll show you, so last time I was taking a full 1/2 centimetre off. I will see how big that is. So that's 4.5 centimetres. So I'm going to cut, I'm just going to take off like 3 millimetres. So I'll do this one with it slightly closer to the size. So I'm just going to take 3 millimetres off just to show you the difference. When they say, oh, that's the one I've just done. When they say size doesn't matter, just show you how it matters. So lengthwise we are at 10. So if I take the 3, kind of 2.5 and 3 off, you will just see slightly less of the blue, and it will be easier to see when I put the card together. So again, using my, I'll try not to stamp on my oh, I've done it again. Jenny's now shouting at the screen, pull it towards you. Do a funny angle. It's being real. So there's one piece done. And actually, do you know what? The key thing with shimmery is it's slightly off-white, and I think that's going to look a lot better on a white background. Can you see? Oh, we'll have a look at how it looks on the screen. But to me, that is very slightly off. So again, this piece is just over 4 by 7.5. So I'm going to take kind of 2.5, because I'm slightly over. So I'm just going to cut that down that way. And I've already forgotten what that was. So what did I say? 7. Where's my 7.5? So slightly over 7.5. Just kind of take the 2.5 off again. So much less of a edge showing. Ooh. Just popping that onto there. So is anybody else starting to make Christmas cards yet? Or is it just me that's getting it? It's the 3rd of August. Marie's already, so that's 2.2, so we'll just do 1.9, although I think I prefer that edge. So say an ideal way of using up your scraps, but as is a brand new DSP and I don't have scraps, I'm creating lots of scraps. But you can then, out of one piece, I've only cut off the biggest strip here, so that measures 10, so we'll kind of, let's just decide which end we prefer. So we'll take off 2 and a bit, making sure we don't cut our little bit. Yeah, I think I've managed to make about 8 Christmas cards out of the God knows how many that I've got to make. I haven't even worked it out. So I cut one strip off. I've got a few little scraps. That piece I probably will say goodbye to. Those bits are definitely staying because they can make another card of the same style. Right, what I'm going to quickly do is get a piece of white and cut it to the same size and just show you the difference, because shimmery white to me just has a slightly cream look to it, and I'm wondering whether this will look better if we stick with, just double checking my measurements for 13.9, so they've got two bits the same. Oh, and this, yeah, this set is, you've got so many options. It's a beautiful suite if you can justify buying the whole suite. But you might just decide that dies in the stamp set. So, let's have a look at those three bits on. So to me, from my physical, I'll just have to wait for the video to catch up. For the visible eye in person, this is too cream against that background. I didn't notice it, so oh, right, okay, I see why I didn't notice it. So I didn't notice it on that paper because it doesn't have the white. I mean, it's got white in it, but it's got much more of the colour, hasn't it? So that's why. So I think, let me just, we're almost there, catching up. Yeah, I make, love the shadows you got there with my rough edge. You see on the camera it doesn't show up as much. I just think, yeah, I'm gonna do it on the white base rather than shimmery white, because it's much creamer in reality, and this is a nice crisp white. So oh, that might, so that's quite an interesting match. Those to those two corners, put that one on a bit of dimensional. Yeah, it's because it's got a cream tinge to it with the shimmery white, so I think the using the Whisper White really makes it a lot crisper. I think you're absolutely right there. And then the whole thing's going to go on to there and on. So I'll have to remember to use a very vanilla Whisper White. Oh dear me. So what I'm thinking is actually I might put that snowflake on first before. I might put the snowflakes on before the paper, and then again we're going to need a Whisper White. What do I do with the Whisper White to just cut off? Because if we don't use a Whisper White, so I like that story label. Ooh, do you know what might look quite nice? And again, this is why I love these sets. I've got a little From Our House to Yours in this Christmas one. And what I'm thinking is, how would it look in the centre of that? Might look a bit small, but we can. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Right, let's do that. Because we have to send quite a lot of cards kind of from our house to somebody else's. So where is my Misty Moonlight? Because the thought I'm having is let's just, right, as I just nearly put my elbow in a colour ink before, I'm thinking that you shouldn't have, I've just smudged that. Be more careful, more haste, less speed. The excitement, actually let's do it down this end of the card. Leave enough space for the thing. So where I smudged that one, I will just use the other side of the card, but I will make sure that this one dries before I put my mitts all over it. So in the centre of that, put that somewhere, but I think what that then needs is some snowflake stamping on it, and what we have is we've got two little, so I could, you see how, actually if I bring it kind of more central, that almost, we can you see how that kind of can wrap around? So we've got that one, or this one, which is slightly smaller. But you can see how it kind of wraps around. You see what does that make any sense whatsoever? So it kind of, now where did you use the, oh, there's two little, oh, I might use, right, I'm going to use that one. Decision made. Sorry if you're screaming at me going, no, the other one. Because what I see is there's little dots in this one, and those little dots, kind of one of them, I can sit right in there. And I can do the same thing here, just get that little dot sitting right in the words, and they, oh yeah. Oop, just be a little bit careful there. Oh, I love, love, love that. You can see how I've used those dots to just fill a little bit. Just take some of the plainness out of that label. Hang on, I'm getting in a inky mess. So let's do some constructing. Now the first thing I'm going to do is put the white base onto the, oh, that was a squeaky noise, wasn't it? So white paste onto there first. Then certainly the bigger of these snowflakes, which again I did, I mean that I probably could have glued, but what you can guarantee when you use the adhesive sheets is that you've got glue on every single edge, every single piece. So I think I might just tip that, I might do that, no, let's bring it in. Again, don't want it too. So those two bigger ones I want to put on first. I think this is a great kind of pattern to play around with and just fiddle with the bits and see how you feel. In the nicest possible way. That sounded a little bit because then that's going to sit right up in that corner. This one's going to sit down there. My strip is going to sit on dimensionals, which, do you know what I can use? Because it's a strip, I'm actually going to use the edging strip from my dimensionals, because we don't have any waste. Let's put it in the middle of the card, Marie, not to one side. We don't need it quite that long. Let's trim it there and there, but that's using the edging piece. Oh, don't need to take that off just yet. So that I am then going to sit so that it's raised, and then I'm going to pop that, and I'm probably actually I will probably glue that just to that center, and then we could just have that one poking off somewhere, couldn't we? Or we could not use that. Let's do this first. Now, this is going over the raised piece, so that to get a little bit of extra security with the tape, I am going to use Stampin' Seal Plus. So I need to be very careful because this is very strong. But I just want to make sure that it grips well onto the card because it's going over the ridges. This one isn't quite so key. But what we need to do is always drag it. See, it works perfectly if you use it correctly. So really quite tight to that Whisper White base. I'm glad I put that on Whisper White. It's a much, much cleaner colour for sure. And then that one on dimensionals, kind of about there, I think. So that gives a little bit of lift, but obviously we have got the extra layers. So that's a little bit of, just going to do, this is slightly arched. Let's just straighten that out. And that really can go wherever we fancy. And of course that what might look quite nice, I can't do it with that label. If you used dies, you could cut a base in the Misty Moonlight that was slightly bigger. Oh, actually that behind, I'm going to do that so that it's right, goes right across the middle. That's the way to do it. Got that many tapes out now. So that's, it's not the middle of the card, it's the middle of, so it's covering, it's reaching across all those layers. And then it's just whether I choose to use that extra snowflake or not. I don't know that we necessarily need it. What do we think? Let's clear the decks. So there we go, that's the dies from the Snowflake set. So Snowflake Wishes and is the stamp set, and the correct name for the dies is So Many Snowflakes. And as I say, it comes with this lovely die that essentially cuts the centre out, and then you do end up, which I'm not going to be able to put my hands on right now, am I, of course, a really interesting shape that will definitely have, no, the shape that comes out is really interesting because it's cut these out, so that can definitely have another purpose. But that's what that one does. Whoops, daisy, pinged a snowflake somewhere. There it is. So all of those are just going to go on a Whisper White card base. But yeah, I'm glad I used the Whisper White on that one, because as Jeanette rightly says, this looks slightly dirty against Whisper White, and that definitely needs the cleanness of the Whisper White when you're using that particular paper. And I don't know whether we need to have another, or maybe we could have it in that corner. If anything. Or maybe we just leave it with a bit of... No, I'm going to pop it on there. And then that's me for today. I'm going out for lunch in Leamington Spa tomorrow. So I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be back. So I haven't scheduled anything for tomorrow, because it depends what time I'm back. Meeting a colleague, so that's our kind of halfway point. Leamington Spa. And we get to take advantage of the Eat Out to Help Out scheme. So we'll have a nice low-cost lunch, which sounds perfect to me. So yes, I don't know what time I'll be back. So definitely back on Wednesday at 6 for a one sheet wonder. Do remember, if you haven't already, to pop your colour preference in on the post. We're currently on a lovely vibrant colour choice winning for that colour challenge for the one sheet wonder. So if I don't see you tomorrow because I'm not back in time, or I'm too full of lunch from I'm in the camp of Eat Out to Help Out. I'm getting 50% off, so actually I'm going for it. Whereas if I was paying full price, I'd probably just have a main. I'll probably have a main and a dessert, just because. So I'll probably be rolling home tomorrow. So yes, thank you for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. So enjoy the lovely weather, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.